All right, let's get to today's program. Marcus Melnick is an adult education training specialist with instructional experience at the college and graduate levels. He holds both bachelor's and master's degrees, as well as numerous certifications specializing in the mature learner. Marcus can train in both conceptual and technical topics. He is a published author and has written training manuals. Do that one more time and I can't see. Thank you, darling. He is a published author and has written training manuals for private security, law enforcement, human resources, and firefighting, and is a court-recognized expert witness. Please welcome Marcus Melnick.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
This is the tick ward here.
Well, I am honored to be here, and I want to comment on something that Pat said. You guys don't know this, and I wasn't going to mention it, but I took the day off from my full-time job to be here with you. My full-time job is at Discover Card. Everything he said about banking is 100% accurate, 100%. And we're going to talk about some of those scams because that's part of staying safe. One of the trivia questions was about straining vegetables and fruits. My father used to tell me I have a brain like a sieve. So I have business cards up here. I sort of passed them out, but when the program started, I did not want to interrupt and be a disturbance. So why I have these is because invariably people have questions after I leave. Feel free to call me, feel free to contact me. Whatever questions you have, I'm happy to answer. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. Well, more so than the way I was introduced. I started my public safety career in 1988, so I've been around a long time. The first 2/3 of my career were with the Skokie Police Department, the Glencoe Public Safety Department, and the Evanston Police Department. And that is a picture of me. Aren't I cute? Am I cute? That's the question. I'm on the right. That picture was taken in 1988. So we're going to talk about three things here. We're going to talk about electronic safety, financial safety, and physical safety. And there is overlap in all of them, which is why I had the Venn chart. When we talk about electronic safety, this is not the end all and be all. We've been talking this morning a little bit about scams. There's new scams that come out every day. I have gotten scammed and I'm pretty good at not getting scammed, but I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Who knows what the dark web is? What's the dark web?
The hidden part of the web. You don't know it's not registered. People that collect data and sell it illegally.
Yes, I'll repeat what he said. So it is, he didn't quite say this, but it's a layer under the internet that is not registered. Nobody knows people are on it. And that system collects information from people like what we talked about earlier, passwords, social security numbers, credit card numbers. As a matter of fact, I often will get an email saying, oh, by the way, we have your password. This is your password. And it's a password from 15 years ago. And I'm like, oh, good. I'm glad they have the old one, not the new one. We already talked about viruses, and there are fake phone calls from loved ones. Have you guys heard of this happening? Okay, we're going to talk about this in detail because it is a little bit scary. And there are also dating scams. Between my marriages, I only have two, so don't judge. Amateur. Whoever said that, I love it. I would get involved in, I'd go online and someone would say, oh, I love you, and I want to meet you, but send me some money first. Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the scams that I was involved in and how I got out of them. Well, I already mentioned the dating scams. When I was very young in my first marriage, our house needed new siding. We had three quotes come in, just like you would in business. By the way, I've been disarmed, so I can't really move around a lot with my arm. All right, that was a little bad joke. I only tell bad ones. Once in a while, I hit gold. I'm disarmed. Disarmed, yes. So we ended up hiring this contractor. Wow, was this guy full of you know what? super nice, really good scam artist. And all the siding got ripped off our house. And I don't mean that in a bad way, removed from the house. And that was it. And then he disappeared. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm calling him. He says, I'm in the hospital. I'm not in the hospital. A couple months go by. Now it's like October. And I'm like, all right, well, I got to get to the bottom of this. So I had some resources available to me because I did work in law enforcement. I found the subcontractor that he used who was working in the neighborhood, had a little conversation with him, and he's like, well, the contractor never paid me, so I'm not going to finish the job. I said, I will pay you. I will take care of it. We put down half, and half went to the contractor. The other half was approximately the amount of money that was going to go to the subcontractor, and we didn't pay him. Now, meanwhile, the contractor's calling me, come on, I need some money. Please, please. I'm like, you didn't do the job. Well, I need to buy materials. That's your problem. I had two really big police detectives knock on his door and scare the you-know-what out of him, which was a lot of fun. I wish I was there. And I told the subcontractor to come back. They did the entire house. Then the contractor comes to pick up a check. Well, I staged this. I knew where the subcontractor was. I said, the contractor's coming in, come to my house. They get into a little bit of a disagreement. That's an understatement. No, nothing physical. And I jumped in and I said, I'll tell you what, why don't I pay the contractor? By the way, this was planned. Why don't I pay the contractor what you owe him and give you the balance? And they said, okay. And that's how the contractor got paid. That's how my house got cited. Anyone know about IRS scams? You get a phone call, typically someone with a foreign accent who is from the IRS. Is the IRS going to actually call you? No, they're going to send you a letter. So sometimes I play with these people. And I had one guy on the phone and this police are there. By the way, the phone call came in from the Illinois State Police. That's what showed up on caller ID. So he calls me up and he says, this is the state police. We're sending an officer out because you owe back taxes and we're going to arrest you. Well, I already know that's not how it happens. It's not how it works, especially for very low amounts. He wanted, I don't know, $1,000, $800,000. And so I'm talking to him and I was like, I get it. I've heard about this happening. There's mistakes. And by the way, I'm being facetious, but this is exactly what I said. Can I just pay you over the phone? And the guy, I thought he was going to jump out of his chair when I offered that. Yes. Like, oh my God, so unprofessional. I said, well, before I give you my credit card number, let me tell you something. I worked in law enforcement for decades. This is a scam. What are you? Click, he hung up on me. But I had a big smile on my face. It was great. It was wonderful. And then I called the state police and I called back the number and it was actually the state police. So nefarious characters out there they call it cloning phone numbers. So you think you're getting a phone call from a family member. You think you're getting a phone call from an actual vendor. You know what's great when you have a family member and what you can ask them? Okay, let me ask a question. I know you're not supposed to do religion. How many people here are Jewish? All right, so you get the fake phone call from your grandson. You're not sure about it. Hey, remember when we had your baptism? Yeah, I do. That was so much fun. Or if somebody's not Jewish, hey, your bar mitzvah was great. You can do those types of things and you can ask questions or initiate conversation that someone should not have any experience in. Because that's kind of the way to figure out if it's a scam. You lead someone, you scam them basically, you lead them down a path. And when they answer you and the answer is obviously wrong, you know it's a scam. My company's been around for about 20 years, very early on, and I was very green. I got an order and I was selling police and fire supplies into various municipalities, departments, hazardous materials, suits, metal detectors, not firearms, but all the stuff that the police would wear, like a baton, pepper spray, the belts, the uniforms, all that stuff. So I got a message from a prop company in New York. Sounded legit. He ordered a ton of metal detectors. And turns out the credit card he used was stolen. And I figured out you can use components from metal detectors to make bombs. So the FBI was involved in that one. They never followed up with me. I don't know what happened, but I turned them into the FBI. So definitely contact local law enforcement. Now, getting scammed is embarrassing, but you still need to report it. I got scammed very recently, and it happens. It happens to everyone. I didn't lose any money on it, but I'll tell you about that after I show you a little video. Who knows what check washing is? What's check washing?
Tracing the amount, not the amount, the name on it. Clean. I was a victim of,
So you know.
that. But luckily I got my bank backed me up. I wrote a check for $100 towards Nicor and gas. Next thing I knew, there was a $9,000 withdrawal.
Holy cow.
From my account. Immediately went to the bank and they showed me a picture. It was the only thing that was still there that I wrote was my signature.
Yep.
Everything else changed, but the bank backed me up. And
that's good. And banks will back you up. Not if you use a debit card, though. Did you have a question in the back? Well, wait till, I'll explain it. I got the question. I got it. How does that happen? I don't know the science behind it, but there are chemicals that dissolve ink and not paper, and then people write over it. He sent it in the mail, or he left it somewhere, or a mail carrier dropped it and someone picked it up. The most secure way to mail something is not to put it in your mailbox, but to put it in the post office mailbox, the drive-through. That's the most secure way to do it. So that's what I do with my bills. If I'm writing thank you notes or a birthday card, I just throw it in my mailbox because there's not a financial thing. Check washing is now digital, meaning they can take the image of your check and erase what you have there and put in other information, which is why it is very safe. I know I went out of order to pay from your banking app if you decide to do that. How many people here use their banking app? Okay, I use my banking app, but I don't go to Capital One, Discover Card, anything like that and pay on their apps. I pay on my banking app, and that is the most secure thing. We already talked about what needs to be done when you're dropping off a bill, take it to the post office. My wife is really, really good about that. And you've monitored your checking account, right? That I'm in my checking account every day. Once in a while, I will get a charge and say, I don't remember that. And it's a legitimate charge. And I call up and say, well, where was this done? It's legitimate. Oh, okay, cool. No problem. Once in a while, I haven't had any fraudulent charges in a long, long time, but they're usually low level. They're usually under $100. Why are they so low level?
I was taxed. They were $30 and I
Yes.
didn't pay attention.
So you don't pay attention, or you say, it's not worth my time to go mess around and go to the police department and do all these different reports, because whatever, and the bank's going to help me anyway. Report it. Please report it. You guys know about the grandson or the granddaughter that calls you and says, I'm at college, I need money, I'm in jail, I need money. Now you're in jail? Oh my goodness. Okay. Again, the hook is emotional. The hook is emotional, and they're going to try to create a sense of urgency to get you to send money. I don't answer my phone if I don't know, and I get clients call me, but if I don't know the number, I don't answer the phone. Sometimes it's political parties asking for money, right? Yeah. Can't wait till the election's over. That way I stop getting solicited. So I don't take unknown calls. And when I'm on the phone, I never say the word yes, because they're recording you. Is this Marcus Melnick? Yes. Later on, they put that yes in a, can I have $9,000? Oh, no, it's a recording. You said yes. Taken out of context. Is this Mr. Melnick speaking? So I never give a positive answer until I know who it is. We talked about fake clone numbers or cloned fake phone numbers. And sometimes these scams, they want you to buy them, go to Walmart and buy me $600 worth of gift cards. Big, big, big red flag. Don't do that. All right. I put both of these up there. Some people hate one, some people hate the other. Okay, so I made it even. But I want you to take a listen.
Hey, listen. And by the way, Bob Dober is a terrific guy. I'm recommending him to future President Harris's cabinet. Hey, listen. And by the way, Bob Dober pays his fair share of taxes, but the rich don't.
Okay. Let's listen to this one.
Jill Becker is a tremendous individual. She is so smart. The work she does at North Shore Senior Center really impacts the community. Jill is a true hero. In fact, I'm going to reach out. Well, my people will reach Gaz if she wants to work with me at Trump Talk Town.
Okay. How long do you think it took me to do that? 2 minutes. There's an app. Don't get it. That's the scam I was alluding to earlier. It's called TriParrot AI. And I saw it because I make a lot of funny videos for my full-time job. And I'm like, oh, great. I can have Shaquille O'Neal say something. I can have Arnold Schwarzenegger say something rather than me have a horrible impersonation of them. So turns out I paid for the pro version. There is not a pro version. They took $30. I reported it to the FBI cybercrimes. I reported it out of the Buffalo Grove. I reported it to the Buffalo Grove Police Department, and I contested it on my credit card. Then Discover Card called or emailed me and said, what documentation do you have? I'm a documentation guy. I took screenshots of everything, sent them all the emails, and they reversed the charges. So again, usually financial companies will back you.
Hey,
Jill
listen.
Becker.
Okay, so we talked about the old version of a grandchild needs money for bail or a car repair, tuition, etc. These scammers prey on your emotions. You won money. That's pretty cool, right? Send us money to release your money. I need a credit card to verify your identity. Download this. Click to win. They screw up salutations. Mr. and Mrs. There's a ton of misspellings. And this is a picture, this is a screenshot of a scam I got in my spam mail. Costco, answer and win $5 million. Get started now. Guess who didn't click on that? But I took a shot of it so I could put it in these types of presentations. Okay. And at the top, I don't know if you can read it. It says there seems to be an auto reply to a message that pretended to be sent from your email address. And then there's something about phishing, phishing. Phishing means that's the scam that's online. If you look at the left, this is another one. I highlighted the word postal. Why is UPS sending me something through postal mail? Okay. Another one on the right. See at the top where it says city in brackets? They didn't even take the time to put in the right city. So these are all little clues that these are scams. How about your Netflix is expired? Has anyone gotten that message? My wife and I split expenses. She pays for Netflix. I got the message. I don't have a Netflix account. It's her account. So I get a lot of Netflix ones. So see if you have an actual account. This is another new scam. I'll let this play out.
There's a new scam going on, and I would have fell for it. Let me tell you what it is. These scammers, they get your name and your address, and they send you a package, but there's no return address on the package. So when you open it, there's going to be some sort of little trinket or gift inside, and then there's a QR code, right? So you take your phone and you scan the QR code. Who doesn't like a good QR code? I do. I love a QR code. So I scan it, and everything on your phone instantaneously goes to the scammer. all your credit card information, all your data, everything. So beware of the new scam going on, guys. All right. Tell your mom and them I said hi. Love you. Bye.
TikTok. TikTok can be educational. We're all very nice people, right? I hope. You're not obligated to be nice. You're getting a solicitation. You can be standoffish. That's okay. Who ever watched in the 90s, the X-Files? Trust no one. That was from the X-Files. Okay. Well, we don't send money to people we don't know unless you're positive that they are who they say they are. Who can tell me what MFA is? Not you, Pat. Multi-factor authentication. That's when you sign into a website and then they text your phone, put in this code. It's a pain in the tuchus, but do it because it will keep you safe because they're not going to be sending that code to the nefarious character. You're not obligated to answer your front door. Back when I was a little kid, ding dong at night, we would all jump up off the couch, run to the door. I'm in socks. I'd slide to the door. Who is it? Who is it? Someone stopping by just to say hi. And then, mom had the little Entenmann's cake and said, do you want some Sanka? I'm going back some years, guys. So nowadays, someone rings your bell and everyone gets down. There's a sword under the couch. There's a fall back. So you're not obligated. And actually, I have a big no soliciting sign right next to my doorbell. So they actually have to pass the sign to ring the doorbell. Since I put it up, I think I got 2 people, which is decent. What about surveys? Would you like to take my survey? No, I don't think so. Would you like to take my survey for money? Now, there are services out there where you can do surveys for money. You sign up with that particular company. They usually send you an email with a questionnaire. Those are legit. But if someone's calling you, I would be very wary of that. I would also make it a point to have a relationship with a banker so that if you do run into trouble, you call up your banker and you say, I have something suspicious on my account. And all that means is you go in, you go to Walgreens, you get a little bag of candy, you go in, say, I want to introduce myself. By the way, and you get, by the way, the candy you get them is 100 grand. I want to give you 100 grand. Boom. And then it's a joke. And then they remember you. You've given your banker 100 grand candy bar, but it's money related. It's in their wheelhouse. They will remember you. Feel free to call the police, the state's attorney, the attorney general, the FBI. This is also a really good website. It's identitytheft.gov. And when this re-airs, you can always, I'll leave that up there in a minute, identitytheft.gov. And AARP, which I'm a member of now, has a fraud watch helpline, and that number is on the board. If you want to make life easy, just take a picture of the screen and you don't have to write it down with your phone. Okay. Block callers. Don't do what my mother-in-law did. I never get your calls, Marcus. I never get your texts. Can I see your phone? She freaking blocked me. It was accidental. She didn't know what she was doing. So I unblocked me. I was like, what, you don't love me anymore? Come on. You can tell I have a sense of humor and I bring humor into everything. But that really happened. All right, I'm going to move on. So I hope you guys have taken your pictures. I see some cameras up. All right. Physical safety. So we talked about electronic and financial safety. This is physical safety. Whether you're in your own home or you're out and about, who knows what that's a picture of? Yes. Doesn't look like that anymore. That's where the fountain was and WAGs. You guys remember WAGs and Montgomery Wards and those types of things. All right, so physical safety. Let's talk about it at home. Guess what's coming up? Daylight savings times. Are you guys going to change the batteries in your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors? Yes. Did you know that you cannot buy a smoke detector in Illinois now that has a removable battery? They are all integrated and it's a 10-year life. So on the back of the smoke detector, it'll say mounted on. Don't write the ceiling, write the date. I've seen it. I'm working for a fire department. I was like, are you the wall? And I'm like, are they kidding? No, that's where they mounted it. So change your batteries. Now, one of the things that people don't ever say is I'm certain everybody in here has a flashlight. Check the batteries of your flashlight twice a year. Make sense? So I'm a little bit of a prepper, meaning I prepare for emergencies, real emergencies, not a zombie apocalypse. A real emergency in this area would be an ice storm, a snowstorm, being stuck in your home. Well, as a prepper, I'm an idiot until something happens and then I'm a genius. So what happened? Yesterday, there was a water main break on my street. That's why I didn't shave, because I don't have running water. I had extra cases of bottled water. I had gallon cases. Guess how we're washing our hands now? With the water that I bought. Pretty smart. Make sense? And when are you really going to need it? Well, you're going to need it. How many people in here have had COVID? Okay, me too. It stinks. But you have extra supplies at your house. You'll have some extra water bottles. You have some extra canned soup. And that will sustain you no matter what the emergency is, whether it's a brownout, whether it's a water main break, whether it's a snowstorm. I love the no solicitor sign. Where should your fire extinguishers be in your house? Loud, say it loud, yell it out.
Here's at the base.
In the basement. Why? What's in the basement?
Oh, the furnace.
The furnace. The furnace. Where else should you have a kitchen? Why kitchen? Stove. Where else? Laundry room, garage, anywhere where there's a possible heat source. Do you guys know how to use a fire extinguisher? Who has never used a fire extinguisher? All right, well, this is bonus material. PASS. You pull the pin, you aim. So P is pull, A is aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, S, and sweep back and forth. That's how you use a fire extinguisher. By the way, they're extremely loud. It sounds like an airplane. They're loud, but they work. How about who here leaves their doors open at night? How about car doors? Okay. Can I ask what town you live in? Evanston. I would definitely lock your cars. I used to work for the Evanston Police Department. Lock your car. Yes, sir.
The question regarding fire extinguisher, we have one that we fortunately never used, and I've had it on my, near the kitchen. I noticed the gauge says that it's going between the, I guess, the green and the yellow.
Okay.
Does that mean that it's still good, or can it be tested, or how do I?
If you test it, you've used it.
Okay.
So it's if you wanted to test it or wanted to try, don't do it in your house because a lot of them spray out a messy powder. I would recommend replacing your fire extinguishers every time you buy a new smoke detector. So every 10 years. Will it work? I can't tell you, but I would guess yes. But in the near future, like on Black Friday, I would suggest picking up a couple fire extinguishers at Menards if you can get in the parking lot or Home Depot or whatever. Make sense?
You told me that if you take it out and you shake it, that's what you should be doing to make sure that it's all moving, you know, that it's not clumpy or something inside. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I've never heard that before. So it's not going to hurt it, but I've never done it and I've never, it's under pressure, just like a bottle, you know, like a pop bottle. You don't want to shake a pop bottle, by the way. The big thing I want to communicate here is do not be afraid. I see you. Do not be afraid to call 911. If you call 911 and you really don't need emergency services, that's okay. They'd rather you do that and not need it. Yes, sir.
I want to talk a little bit about the type of fire extinguishers because there's different types of fires, electrical, chemical, so
Yes.
that take different kinds of extinguishers.
Yes. Your best bet, if I were to give you a one-liner, it would be A, B, C. A is for wood, B is for liquids, and C is for something else. And in any event, that covers, see, I got a brain like a sieve. I told you guys when I started. That was funnier than the reaction I got, but. So not a bad idea. ABC is the way to go. but that does spray out a powder. The carbon dioxide ones are BC, that's for chemical or cars. Those are the ones that are super loud. It's a carbon dioxide. Basically, it's a cone, it's a cloud that dampens the oxygen. But the point is, don't be afraid to call 911. Yeah, they're about 10, 12 years. But if you buy a really cheapo one, probably less. So I would stick with Kitty. Kitty, Kiddie, is a name brand. They manufacture a ton of good fire prevention, fire response stuff, equipment. So this is one thing that drives me nuts, and I love my wife, don't get me wrong, but she will walk up to her car, then look in her purse, move all the receipts and the gum and the wrappers and makeup or whatever else is in there, and find her keys, and then open her car. Have your keys in your hand when you're walking to your car. Now, one of my first jobs, I worked at Rush, it's not Rush North Shore Medical Center anymore, but I worked as a security officer in high school there. And all my partners used to tease me because I would do that. Someone would ask, they need some door open to some storage room to get supplies. And I would, while I'm walking there, I'm fumbling with my keys. All right, well, I got my keys. So when I'm there, I just open it. One of my partners would tease me and he'd walk down the hall like this with a key in his hand, say, this is Marcus. But it's a safety thing. If you are looking down into your purse or looking up into your pocket, you're not aware of your surroundings. And that's when you look like a victim. We want to park in well-lit areas whenever possible. And what does keep your head on a swivel mean? Okay, it doesn't. I'm going to talk in terms of my son when he was like 3 or 4, and I'm teaching him to cross the street. All right, what do you do, Eli? Well, you look both ways. Show me. And he'd do this. Well, his head moved, but he didn't look. So it's 360 degrees. You want to look and see what is around you. Make sense? Not just left to right with my eyes, but seriously look around. And I love that you guys are asking questions in the middle. If there's an active shooter, this is a very high fear incident. It's a low probability incident, but then again, so is a tornado. Why do we do tornado drills in school? High impact, low probability. Same thing with an active shooter. And you have 3 options. You can run, hide, or fight. I don't know why that little pop-up is there. So this is going to sound a little bit overly simplistic. I don't have that to. Someone turned it off. Thank you. We always want to run in the opposite direction of the danger. Who here has ever heard a gunshot? Okay, about maybe a third. Who here has ever heard a gunshot indoors without hearing protection? Okay, it doesn't sound like it does when someone is on a shooting range. The sound waves act like that's a sides or brick walls. They're not going to absorb sound like a drywall is in the back or up here. So sometimes it's a little bit misleading on where the sound is coming from, but we want to leave behind anything that we have. Your purse is not worth your life. Your cell phone is not worth your life. If there's something that happens here, and this is just an example, I did a cutout of a map. We are right here. Actually, we're right here. No, I'm kidding. That can't tell. But there's different things in the parking lot. When would you go to North Shore mosquito abatement? What kind of emergency would take you there?
Mosquitoes.
Big mosquitoes. I was waiting for someone to say that because that's what I would have said. What's a possible emergency that could happen in this building? Smoke, fire, cooking. Exactly. That's a really close by area, especially if it's wintertime. You got the fire department, you've got the public works department across Winnetka Road. And if you go north, it's a little bit further. It's not on here, but the library is there as well as some restaurants. By the way, Tapas Katana, if you like tapas, it's a good restaurant. Great. As far as hiding goes, simplest thing to do is lock the door. how would we lock with these doors, these 4 exit doors out here? How do you lock those? So what would we do? More than one. Stack up stuff. Because if a bad guy or a nefarious character opens the door and they see a blockage, they're going to go on to the next easier target. And actually, I'm going to be doing a video with Pat. Hi, Pat. A little bit after on how to secure the front doors. As far as fighting goes, nobody's expecting you to go in, roll on the ground, like you see in the movies. What fight means is to interrupt the shooter or the attacker's OODA loop, and I'll explain what that is. Observe, orient, decide, act. That's an acronym. It was post-World War II, an aviator came up with it. And every decision is made with an OODA loop. I'm going to observe that I'm on a stage. I'm going to orient myself to the stage, notice the podium, decide to walk to the podium, and now I'm going to walk. And same thing with a bad guy. If they're coming in trying to cause havoc and you throw an object at them, like a purse, a book, a hat. I mean, it doesn't have to be a hard object. You're interrupting that process and they have to start over again. And if I've done these drills over and over again, and I typically give someone a Nerf gun and they go in and they can't function because they're getting all these objects thrown in. It doesn't have to be a dangerous object. It just has to be a distracting object. And we all have weapons of opportunity. So I mentioned someone has a book, hats, purses. Let's see, what else do we have in here that's a weapon of opportunity? Chair, microphone, leg, arm. Only one for me, though. I'm having fun with this. Can you tell? All right, moving on. Let's talk about color codes of mental awareness. Your safest bet is to be yellow. As we age, our attention gets to be a little bit less. Our mobility gets to be a little bit less. Our vision, our hearing. Condition white is someone who's unaware of any danger, oblivious to their surroundings, or daydreaming. Are we ever in condition white? When are we in condition white? Sleep or at home? When else? Reading, whether it's a phone or a book. When else? All right, I'm going to tell you when everybody's in condition white. Are you ready? Have you ever tried to open a produce bag and you can't? And you're concentrating, it's not, I learned later you dip your fingers in the water and then I learned that the hard way. But I did that once. I was at Walmart doing the grocery shopping and I realized, hey, I'm going to use this in class. The second time I went to, this past year, I spoke at a police conference in Montgomery, Alabama. And I was waiting for my luggage and I realized nobody's looking around. They're all looking at the conveyor belt for their luggage. You're in condition white. If that's you, there are these huge pillars. Just stand with your back to the pillar. No one's going to sneak up on you. And you do it subtly. Nobody knows. You're not looking nervous. You're not jumpy. You're looking around. But that would be condition yellow, which is a relaxed state of alertness. It's like driving defensively. When you're driving, you're looking for the ball that's going to roll in the street, right? You're not in danger, but you're aware of all these different things that happen. And you might go to a store sometime and you might see a family fighting. Well, that's not the aisle to go down right now, because I don't care how much you want the individually wrapped pistachios. They're in the aisle where there's all the nuts. Okay, that was a horrible joke. I didn't plan on saying that, it just came out. So we want to conduct ourselves as if we are driving defensively. Condition orange is something has happened that is out of the ordinary. As far as driving goes, that means you've seen the ball roll into the street. You've heard an argument. You heard something drop. You witnessed something. You smell something. What would you smell? Smoke. And then condition red is you actually taking action. It could be in terms of an active threat, it could be an armed encounter. In terms of driving, you have seen the ball roll into the street, condition orange. Condition red means you are acting, which hopefully means everybody's going to slow down and stop and not speed up. Okay, that was not a good joke. I'll give you that one. The last time that happened to me, it wasn't a kid that ran in the street. It was a dad. Boy is right. So your safest bet is to maintain a condition yellow. It doesn't mean high alert, super stressed, just be aware of everyone. Now, I was constantly aware of people coming in because I wanted to see who I was speaking to as people are coming in. You never know, might know people. Like I said, we have reduced senses as we age, reduced eyesight, reduced hearing. So with reduced eyesight, it's okay to use your neck muscles, meaning look around. I had thyroid surgery a long time ago, and the doctor said you can't drive for whatever it was, a week. It's like, why not? He says, you can't move your head. I go, no one else does when they drive. So I encourage you, yeah, look around. Look around. Know what is in your environment. When you call 911, this is the information to give. You give your name, your location, requested resources, meaning do you need the police? Do you need maybe public works? Do you need an ambulance? Do you need a fire department? It's okay to call for what you might think are non-emergencies. My former father-in-law was a very, very heavy man. I loved him, but he also had diabetes and one of his legs was amputated. And he had to call the fire department multiple times because he would fall. And he was heavy, no one could lift him up. So what I did, and I'm planting a seed right here, I called the local fire department and I got a Knox box for his house. Who knows what a Knox box is? All right, what's a Knox box?
Box on the outside of your door, which is accessible to the fire department.
Yes.
And has a key to your home with it.
Exactly. So if he ran into trouble and was home alone, he'd have a cell phone with him. He can call and they can get in his house without breaking anything, without knocking down a door. A lot of departments they call them loan. I mean, you get it permanently, but they'll loan it to you. And that's how he was able, before he passed away, to get help. It's okay to do that. It's a great, great idea. What the situation is, if there is an offender, and if you want to remain anonymous, when would you want to remain anonymous? Those darn kids, those meddling kids in the neighborhood, they're making too much noise. It's 2 a.m. I don't want to be identified. And then the police drive in, they hear the loud music, then they can take action. And that way you're not the bad guy, at least in the neighborhood. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. All right, before we get into that, I'm going to do a little exercise here. I want you guys to describe me. Just yell out whatever you want to yell out. I'm not insulted. If you think you're going to insult me, I'm not. I know what I look like. Tall. Ooh, he's my favorite student for the next 10 seconds. How tall am I? Ooh, good. I'm 5'8.5". The half is important. Okay, what else? Describe me. Balding, thanks a lot. No, I am. No, that's true. Able to move, but not my arm. This would be probably the most obvious trait of me. Arm in a sling. I met a client at Starbucks yesterday. I texted them. I was like, if you're looking for, and I never met them before. If you're looking for me, I have a sling on. Who else is going to have a sling on? Okay. What are some other descriptors of me? Glasses. Weight. What about my weight? I'm overweight. Yeah. I got a lot of guts. What else about me? Red, white, blue shirt. Well, red and white. Sorry. Blue here. I'm colorblind, so it's a little bit more difficult. I have a hard time getting dressed. What? Glasses. What else? Gray slip-on shoes. Very good. Short haircut. Balding. Thanks. What color pants do I have on? They're brown. I know that because I read the tag this morning. Move at my waist because I can't use this pocket, so I have to clip them on. So these are all descriptors of me, and I'm going to show you a little form. It's not exactly what they use, but nobody said I was a male. No, yeah, no kidding. Nobody said that I was Caucasian. Those are descriptors. Okay. It's my age. What do you guys think? Yes. Who said 62? 51. Okay. The whole idea is middle-aged. I'm middle-aged. I'm not some 20-year-old athletic kid. All right. Hair color style, not applicable. Okay. Eyes. What color eyes do I have? Now, I'm a little far away from you, so you might not get that, which is okay if you leave out a detail or two. Okay. I don't have any tattoos that are visible. I don't have any scars that are visible, but I have a sling on. Okay. What about my complexion? What's my complexion? Olive. I tan very well. Okay. I don't mean that to be funny. And as far as clothing, it's all on the right. And the weapon accent, I don't have it. I maybe have a little bit of a Chicago accent, but that's it. These are, and feel free to take a picture of this. This is how you would describe an individual to a 911 operator, to a police officer. You start at the top and work your way down. So what can you do when you're out? Well, you project confidence. Am I projecting confidence to you right now? Yeah, you know why? Because I absolutely love, you know who you look like? Patrick Stewart. Doesn't he look like Patrick Stewart? I'm waiting for him to say, make it so. All right, that's a Star Trek joke. Go out in groups. Yes, yeah. Him. Patrick Stewart doesn't have a mustache, sorry. All right, so you go out in groups. And how many people like to go out to eat? Meet people. School, meet people, go out to eat. Or close by, if you can, if you have a handicap placard or license plate, that's even better. Make sure your hands are free. Free hands. Why should your hands be free? Wait, so two people said at the same time. Prevent the fall. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. What else? Defense. What else?
Beat your wife.
I won't go with that one. How about hold your wife's hand? Is that better? Okay. Or get your phone out so you can call for help. So if your hands are free, you can do that. Okay. Always have a lawyer review your contracts. That's not really physical. Anyone use direct deposit, or are you all getting checks? I use direct deposit. It's one less step for me. And only carry what you need in your purse. How many people have purses that weigh like 4 bricks? Because there's all sorts of stuff in them that you don't need. Okay. As far as stuff in them, I keep telling my wife, why don't you delete all those game apps on your phone? Well, what if my son wants? He's driving now. He's not 4 years old. So I'm trying to get her to free up space. Know your neighbors. How many people do not know their neighbors? Good. So you guys are relatively social. When I first moved in, I didn't know my neighbors. We moved in a couple months later. Our next door neighbors moved in, and it was Halloween. And they were literally moving their stuff in the house, and kids are going trick or treat. And so this is how I made friends. I was like, "We got you covered. Come over here for double." They were moving in. I mean, they didn't have anything. Review your bank statements, card statements, and check out charities before giving. We did talk about that. These are a couple of websites that I want to offer, and I do this because there's people on Zoom. That first website is an electronic business card that has my contact information on it, my websites, all sorts of interesting things, and that's how you can get a hold of me. For the people in the room, I also have physical cards as well. I do this for a living. I go around the country and I speak. I love delivering the message of safety to a variety of different people. My website for that is Stress to Logic. And then the last one are the books that I've written And that's on the opposite of safe. One of them is called the opposite of safe. That's how I got the website. And it is about
Marcus,
active shooter
just a
response. Yes, sir.
reminder that you have authorized this program to be recorded. So
100%.
in a week or a little bit longer than that, it'll be available at the North Shore Senior Center YouTube website. Also off of our homepage, you can find it under Lifelong Learning and a Tuesday Club. So thank you for the fact that you've made all of your information available, and this 1 hour is available to everyone here and also those on Zoom, and you can share the link.
And it is my pleasure to do so. And for the people that are on Zoom or who see it later on, or if you guys want to rewatch it, be like, what is his contact information? Really, you're not bugging me. You're not bugging me at all. Yes, I was just going to ask anyone else questions and you beat me to it.
But let's give them a big hand.
Oh, thank you.
Head up, we tried to take a photograph of that had scam information.
Let me go back. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Okay. I might have just passed it. Hold on. Did I pass
There's
it?
a
This, oh, yeah,
It's
this is the one. That's the one. Good. I'm so glad you said that. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
slide said, bottom of it, it said gift cards. Don't buy gift cards.
No, so many of them.
Don't buy gift cards if somebody says, you owe me money, I'll take payment in Target, Walmart gift cards. No, buying gift cards is fine. Okay. Yes, sir, in the back.
I'm sorry, everyone. Nobody can hear you on Zoom unless your microphone. So wait for me.
What are your thoughts on the average citizen going out and procuring pepper spray and having it handy should they find themselves going into an area that they don't feel totally safe in? What are your thoughts about that person carrying pepper spray in their pocket or their purse?
I am 100% for it.
And how does one go about getting pepper spray?
Okay. A great question. Yes, actually I got it from my wife. That tells you how much I support it. And what I did was, you can get it on Amazon. Get the gel or the foam. Do not get an aerosol product. Because if you're like me and a little goose goes to attack you and you go to spray it with an aerosol product, the wind will take it and put it back in your face. And don't do it on April 1st because everyone who knows you're a jokester thinks it's a joke. That's what happened to me. So yes, absolutely. I would also buy, they call them inert units, and it smells like lemon pledge, but you can spray and you can see where it goes. So I put a little target, painted a little smiley frowny face, put it on a tree, had my wife spray it. Did that answer your question? Awesome. We've got one right next to you. How
Yes,
convenient.
you said nothing about AI, and it really has me worried. I'm wondering if you could say something about it, how we can combat it, how we can identify it, et cetera.
So the two presidential or one former presidential candidate, one current one, that is AI. That is exactly what that is. As far as combating it, you should probably have a code word for your family who's going to call you, hey, I need help. That's cool. Or you can ask them a question like, oh, hey, remember your bar mitzvah if you're Catholic. Or remember your confirmation if you're Jewish, that type of thing. Those are my thoughts, like mislead the person, and that way you're less likely to be scammed. Did that address? And it's so new, I don't have a good handle on beyond that.
Why? That's what I'm implying. It's so new. And it's really going, I think as time goes on, we're going to be more and more affected by it.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, in criminal justice, we are reactive. We got to wait for the scam to come out and then figure out how to reverse it.
Let me just remind us that because of its pizza day, we need to be winding it up in about 5 minutes. So we'll take one more from the auditorium, then we have a couple from Zoom.
Okay, and I will stick around. So if I don't get to your question, I'm hanging out.
think the next one was here. Just a brief comment. One of the things you raised about email is look for the syntax errors and so on. And dovetailing in with the question about AI, that is less and less the case now. A lot of the fraudsters, scammers are using AI and their emails are looking more and more perfect. So you can't trust so much to the syntax errors anymore.
Let me explain what to look for. One little thing to look for. All right, Jill. How do you spell neighbor? Yeah.
In American and.
That's my point. That's my point. A lot of the countries in Africa were colonized by Great, well, so are we, colonized by Great Britain. They have British spelling. You're looking for British spelling. That's why, exactly, that's why I asked her. All right, so it's pizza time. I'm sticking around, so if you have questions.
Zoom from Zoom.
Oh, we have Zoom, sorry, I didn't mean to cut the Zoom.
There was a comment made, which is very valid, that one of the things you can do when you get a website that you're unsure of, when they say this is from whatever, your bank, if you hover over it with your mouse, you'll see the actual email address that is being sent to you. And it's never the one that of that business. So I think that, and then there's just my comment, last point, before we go to pizza. How often when you're in the grocery store, do you see, and it's going to be a woman with a purse on their cart.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're looking at the meat to pick out the best selection. I have helped about 12 different people in the last 2 months when I'm shopping by just politely saying, ma'am, watch your purse. They are stealing from purses, and then they always will thank me. But I would rather the people on Zoom and the people here understand that and do that themselves.
And that is a function of being in condition yellow. That person is in condition white. It's really funny. When I'm at the grocery store, my wife says, she said it to me 8 times, can you watch my purse? Like, your purse is perfectly safe with me. No one's going to take it. I guarantee it. And if they do, they'll be in trouble. What other Zoom questions do we have?
Nope, that would be it. So I'm going to turn it back to Dick because it's time for pizza.
Thank you very much, Marcus. It was a very helpful and